My name is Louie Northern. I'm the founder of Ascend Aerials, and we are a video production company who specializes in the usage of UAS. Most people call them drones. We create marketing reels as our core competency, everything from single-family residential to luxury resorts, all real estate offerings. We interface in the construction industry, and we'll eventually push into TV and film. In fact, we're going to be pushing into news gathering as well. As a part of my previous profession as an urban designer, we deal heavily in marketing, and we also have to understand sort of presentation graphics and this sort of thing. And so for the last 10 years or so, I've been involved in creating multimedia presentations, video editing heavily as just a function of the presentation purpose. And so I've been exposed to that realm, and then whenever I learned about this new technology, which would have been about 3 years ago now, I saw it for the first time. I was just sort of smitten with what the possibilities, and so I decided to just get my first copter. It was a quadcopter, just to sort of test it out and see. My intention was going to be to just make some videos that I thought were cool, sharing with close friends and relatives, potentially on social media. But I thought there was a potential to make some income there, but I didn't really fully understand exactly what I was going to be doing until I took a trip to Mexico. This was 2 years ago. I took a trip with my buddy. It's funny, we went to Mexico for a My Morning Jacket show, which played at one of the resorts that I had designed, which was amazing. So I got to show my friends. We took a group of friends. This is my work. And then we saw this 3-day festival. It was called One Big Holiday. It was a hard rock resort. And while we were there, we stayed off campus at a different resort called Palmul. And so we were there we had scheduled it for about 4 days, 4.5 days trip, which was amazing. And on the 4th day, this is my first foray into really flying with what's called a gimbal, which stabilizes the camera, which required, it's a funny story, I ended up having to learn how to solder, and because of timing constraints, I ended up having to bring my soldering iron to Mexico, and I was welding or soldering in my hotel room in Cancun while everybody was partying, because I had to get this project completed so I could make these videos. And so I finally successfully did that, which I was amazed at. I don't know if you solder or not, but so long story short, on the 4th day I had been flying and getting these extremely compelling shots, and there's just very captivating content. And I made the decision that day, there is no way I'm going home. So I told my buddy Scott, I said, Scott, well, I'm not leaving today. There's no way. Our flight was in 6 hours. We were getting ready to have to go to the airport. And I said, there's no way I'm leaving today. And I had made a contact with the owner of this hotel who was in management, so I was like, I'll be right back. And so I didn't even tell him what I was doing, but I brought my computer, my laptop, walked over to the office, and I walked in and I said, I'm a video editor from Atlanta. I can create this reel for you in exchange for, but in order for me to do it, I need an additional 4 more days or 5 more days, I forget what I said, for free. I want you to allow me to stay here for free, and then also comp my previous stay for all of my friends for the first 5 days that we were there. And she said, let me get back to you. I went to eat lunch at their restaurant. 30 minutes later, she came over and said, okay, and then that's when the light bulb went off, and I was like, so she had just given me virtually 9 days of hotel stay for free in exchange for this reel that she didn't even have any other. All she had was what she saw, a 30-second clip, so it was extremely compelling to her, apparently. And so that's where my first company, Aerial Resort, was born. So it was in Palmul, in that moment, that I realized that there was a true potential for this as a business model. And so I started to cultivate Aerial Resort to begin with, but of course I was still working as a full-time employee as an architect, urban designer. And so I wasn't putting as much energy as I am obviously now into it, but I was working nights, building a website, at that point showing just close friends, what do you think about this? Trying to grapple with the idea of how do I get this ball rolling, how do I market, what's our angle? I knew that we had a product that people would want, but I didn't know exactly how to connect those and how to deliver that, which is something that we're still figuring out, but we're starting to find inroads into those avenues for sure.